So again, he was able to act with some restraint, a bit like BTK, Dennis Rader. I don't want to get caught. I'm going to go on a break for 2 years, he decided. Whatever the reason, the investigators were later embarrassed to learn that Chikatilo himself, in his capacity as a freelance employer of the Department of Internal Affairs, had been assisting the militia to patrol the trains. He was one of the people that were helping the Department of Internal Affairs look for suspicious people who could be the killer. He had knowledge of the investigation that was centered around the 3 areas, so he resumed his homicide in areas that were far removed from the areas that they were already aware of, because they had employed him as part of their team. Now, in 1986, we know that after he found out about these patrols, he then decided he wanted to go on a homicide break. So in 1986, he didn't actually commit any homicides. He spent most of 1986 traveling around the country on buying trips for his employer, and he celebrated his 50th birthday on October the 16th. Then in 1987, on May the 16th, he revamps and reintroduces himself to the homicide world, and he unalives a 13-year-old boy named Oleg Makarenkov, which is where he restarts his homicidal spree. And he continued on this same path. In March of 1989, he unalives a 16-year-old girl called Tatiana. And this homicide occurred in his daughter's apartment in Shakti. It had been empty since his daughter had divorced her husband and moved back in with her parents. And after Chikatilo lured this 16-year-old inside, he had given her vodka and seduced her, and then he unalives her and violates her body. He then realizes that he couldn't leave the body in the apartment, so he takes a kitchen knife and decapitates her, saws off her legs before wrapping her in rags and articles of clothing. He then tied the bundles to a sled belonging to a neighbor and dragged it through the streets of the surrounding area where he dumped her remains. August the 19th, 1989, Chikatilo kills a 19-year-old girl named Jelena Varga. He killed her while he was on his way to his father's birthday party. Seeing the 19-year-old at a bus stop, he offered to walk her home, but instead he lured her into the woods and unalived her. When the police in 1989 recovered many of the bodies, they found that many of the females were missing their uterus and nipple, and the males had genitals and occasionally their tongues sliced or bitten off. In 1990, in his last year of freedom, Chikatilo continued to unalive 8 more victims. On October the 17th, 1990, Chikatilo unalives a 17-year-old boy named Vadim Gromov, and his body was found on November the 3rd near Rostov's Lesgos railway station. It was a location that had been under heavy scrutiny for months.